The Knicks are now 2 wins away from winning the NBA Finals. They got a huge second win over the Spurs last night. A lot of it had to do with their offensive and defensive execution, but I also thought the Spurs really put themselves in tough spots and had a lot of self-inflicted wounds, so let's break it down. In Game 1, the Knicks found a lot of success in attacking Wemby on the perimeter, specifically with ball screen actions. So you can see from Game 1 on this possession, Jose Alvarado gets this screen from OG Anunoby, and Wemby up on the screen, he gets an easy drive to the basket with Cat being guarded by the much smaller Vassell. He's able to just seal him off for 2. The second big problem that the Spurs faced was with this matchup with Cat. You can see on this possession, Jalen Brunson gets this screen from Cat. Wemby switches onto Jalen Brunson, but now you have the much smaller defender on Cat, so when this shot goes up, Cat's easily able to just muscle his way for this rebound and get fouled. This was a common problem all night for the Spurs, where the Knicks were able to just completely take advantage of the smaller matchups that were guarding Cat. So in Game 2, the Spurs decided to make an adjustment defensively by trying to keep Wemby at the basket more on defense. And he did this a lot with pre-switching and switching off the ball. So you can see on this possession when the Knicks come down the court, Wemby's initially guarding Karl-Anthony Towns here, but he tells De'Aaron Fox to go pick up Karl-Anthony Towns knowing that this screen is coming from Cat. And so Wemby drops down to Josh Hart, who isn't a great floor spacer or a three-point shooter. And when Anunoby gets the ball here, Wemby's able to stop this initial drive. Hart kicks it out to Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges now takes a contested floater from Wemby at the basket, with Wemby being able to roam around the paint here. It's the same concept here where Wemby's going to point for Vassell to go switch on to Towns. And so when Brunson uses this screen, he realizes that Vassell is guarding Towns now. So he rejects this screen and gets into the lane. And the reason why the Spurs want to do this is because they want to keep Wemby as a low man at all times. So when Brunson drives on Castle, Wemby's there to prevent this layup at the rim, and Castle's able to block the shot. It's another Spurs stop. Here it's Cat setting a screen for Alvarado, and this time it's Dylan Harper switching on the Cat from the weak side. Wemby's able to drop down, and Keldon Johnson runs out and contests this Landry Shamet 3 into a miss. But you can see some of the problems that this style of defense has for the Spurs. It takes up a lot of energy and communication, so you can see when Wemby drops down here, he pretty much has to remind Keldon Johnson that he needs to be the guy closing and Xing out onto Landry Shamet. And you can see how far he is on this closeout. He pretty much has to sprint from the opposite side of the paints, and this takes up a lot of energy and effort. And this is something that the Spurs kind of had problems with the rest of the game. They started to run out of gas, and they started to miscommunicate on some of these closeouts and rotations. You can see some of the communication errors that the Spurs were having on this possession, where Wemby's going to hedge this ball screen and then drop back into the paint. They're going to execute their switching scheme where Champagnie is going to come from the weak side and switch onto Cat here. So when Brunson drives past Dylan Harper, Wemby's already in the paint and they're able to wall off this drive. But when Brunson kicks it out to Shamet, now the Spurs are in rotation. Shamet attacks this poor closeout. Victor and Harper are both in the paint here. Both of them forget about Mikal Bridges on the other side. So when Mikal Bridges gets the ball, Wemby needs to sprint over to Mikal Bridges. It's a bad closeout by Wemby. Keldon Johnson's forced to help now. Now Vassell needs to sprint over to help onto Brunson. Champagnie's now in rotation. And this is just too many rotations for the Spurs to handle. Mikal Bridges gets a wide open three-point attempt. And like I said, this takes up a lot of energy, a lot of focus. The Spurs really couldn't handle all of these rotations. The Spurs run their switching scheme here again with Wemby dropping down. Fox steps up, but now you have the Spurs players in rotation once again. And Devin Vassell, for some reason, closes out hard on Josh Hart instead of staying on Landry Shamet. So this is an easy extra pass to Landry Shamet in the corner. And now once again, it's Dylan Harper who has to sprint across the court to try and contest this Landry Shamet three-pointer. Jalen Brunson does a great job at blowing up this Spurs scheme on this possession here, where he's going to get this ball screen from Cat. You can see Wemby's already in this position to hedge once again. And so Jalen Brunson just completely rejects this ball screen. And so now when Jalen Brunson drives, he blows right by Carter Bryant. De'Aaron Fox can't switch on the Cat now because he needs to help on this Brunson drive. But Fox also doesn't want to fully commit one pass away off of Mikal Bridges, who's been pretty much making every single three-pointer. So when Brunson drives, it's a wide open layup. And you can see OG Anunoby clearing out this entire left side here. So there's no weak side help from the Spurs. So when Brunson gets into the lane here, you can see Devin Vassell with his back turned trailing OG Anunoby. He has no idea where Brunson is, and it's way too late when he turns around. The Knicks also have elite spacing and elite spacing principles. You can see on this possession at the end of the quarter, Jalen Brunson's going to get double teamed by Devin Vassell. And when Devin Vassell comes up to double team Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges is going to immediately flash his hash mark here. Landry Shamet's also going to come up to this free throw line. And when Bridges gets the ball, now you have Wemby and Fox pretty much guarding 3 players. And the way the Knicks are aligned, you can see Cat's in this corner, Anunoby's in this weak side corner, and Shamet's at the free throw line. So Wemby's forced to step up on Shamet here, and this is an easy pass to the corner from Bridges, and Cat gets another 3-pointer. Here's another great example of the Knicks utilizing their spacing well. They're going to clear out an empty side corner for Jalen Brunson to operate off this handoff with Josh Hart. So there's no strong side help defenders from the San Antonio Spurs. So when Jalen Brunson gets his handoff from Josh Hart, he's able to blow right by Champagnie. Wemby's forced to help on this weak side here. Now he's leaving OG Anunoby, a great 3-point shooter, wide open in the corner. So De'Aaron Fox actually does a good job of trying to run Anunoby off the line and funnel him into Victor Wembanyama here. But OG Anunoby is just going to take a pump fake, takes a step back, and he drills this 3-point shot. And the Knicks wings have continued to hurt the Spurs by making these type of shots. The Knicks come down on this possession and run shallow action, which is pretty much when a player just runs underneath any ball screen action. So you can see Mikal Bridges is just going to run underneath this ball screen action between Jalen Brunson and Cat. And this just creates some confusion. You can see Wemby actually switch on to Mikal Bridges now, and now you have Fox on Cat. And so when Jalen Brunson gets this rescreen from Landry Shamet, 2 players go to Jalen Brunson. Landry Shamet now has this 2-on-1 with Mikal Bridges on Victor Wembanyama. So Landry Shamet just drives, and now the Spurs try and peel switch this by having Victor Wembanyama pick up Landry Shamet. But once again, this is just a far closeout for Julian Champagnie. Mikal Bridges is able to just blow right by this poor closeout from Julian Champagnie. He actually falls down a little bit, and this is an easy step back 3 for Mikal Bridges. The Knicks also continue to utilize Cat in a variety of ways, especially with some of these fake handoffs. You can see he blows right by Cornette on this fake handoff. And on this one, he steps back on Wemby for the 3-pointer. I mean, this is a 7-foot big man stepping back for 3-pointer this easily. And they're still able to run their offense through Cat when Wemby was just guarding Cat one-on-one. You can see on this possession, Cat's operating at the top of the key, and they're going to run their flex offense where Jalen Brunson's going to get this flex screen from Mikal Bridges. And take a look at Mikal Bridges sealing off Devin Vassell here, and he gets a wide open layup. This is the type of stuff you see Nikola Jokic do with the Nuggets, and this is just great offense. I think if you're the Spurs on the defensive side, you can still try and do a couple of different things differently scheme-wise, but you have to clean up some of these bad discipline and gamble mistakes that they made in this game. You can see on this possession, Landry Shamet gets a wide open 3 off this Stephon Castle gamble. On this possession, Dylan Harper gambles, and now OG Anunoby has a wide open path to the rim. Victor Wembanyama is not going to help off of Landry Shamet. And I think the Spurs can definitely experiment more with leaving Josh Hart open on the perimeter. You can see on this possession, De'Aaron Fox gets switched on to Cat, so Josh Hart has this easy entry pass to Cat. Cat makes this crazy pass to Mikal Bridges over like 4 Spurs defenders for his open 3-point attempt. And I think if you're Devin Vassell, you can definitely sag off of Josh Hart more and kind of double team Cat here in this post. You want to try and get Josh Hart to beat you on the perimeter. You want him to take these threes. He's only shooting 29% from 3 so far in the playoffs. So I think the Spurs should definitely experiment more with that next game. It's the same concept on this play where Wemby actually does a good job initially containing this Josh Hart drive, but when McBride passes the ball back to Josh Hart here, Wemby closes out a little bit on Hart. So now Cat has this wide open mismatch against the much smaller Stephon Castle in the paint, and it's an easy pass over the top from Josh Hart for 2 points. Wemby here should really be dropping down and helping or double teaming Karl-Anthony Towns and letting Josh Hart take these 3-point shots from the outside. On the defensive side of the ball, the Knicks have continued to make it an emphasis to stop these Wemby rolls. You can see the Spurs try and run this empty side pick and roll. Landry Shamet falls down, but OG Anunoby is ready here and helps off of Keldon Johnson, plays within the gaps and stops this Wemby roll. Wemby picks up the ball, and now Keldon Johnson has an above the break 3, but this is a shot the Knicks are willing to live with over a Wemby roll or over a Wemby drive to the basket. The Knicks do the same tag here again, where Wemby's going to set this screen for Castle and roll hard to the rim. And you're going to see Landry Shamet from the weak side aggressively tag Wemby and pretty much just nudge him and prevent him from getting this pass. And you're going to see Castle throw up this wild pass to Wemby. This really should have gone to Vassell here on the wing. This time the Spurs try and run this stack or Spain action, which is pretty much just a back screen for the on-ball screener. So you can see Vassell is going to set this back screen for Wemby, but once again, Brunson does a great job on Wemby in this role here. He's just going to tag Wemby and he's going to nudge him just a little bit and slow him down. So when Castle tries to make this read, he's forced to skip it to the corner to Dylan Harper. And this is a shot that the Knicks are going to live with, a Dylan Harper jab step three-pointer. That's definitely a favorable outcome over a Wemby roll. It's even on his high horn set that the Spurs love to run. Wemby's going to set this screen for Castle, and he's going to roll hard to the rim. But once again, we're going to see Brunson kind of step in and tag Wemby early and prevent him from rolling quick to the basket. So when Castle gets inside the paint, there's not really a passing angle to Wemby. There's also not really a scoring angle because Cat's already in the paint. And so when he tries to skip this pass to Harper, OG Anunoby just steals this ball and Brunson's able to get 2 points on the fast break. The Knicks even do it on these short rolls here. You're going to see Wemby not really roll hard to the rim. He's just going to pop out to this open space at the free throw line, but Anunoby's still going to come down and prevent this pass to Wemby. They don't want Wemby anywhere near the paint, so they're willing to give up this skip pass to Dylan Harper. Castle tries to score over Towns in this mid-range area and Mikal Bridges, but he just throws up a crazy shot, and that's another great defensive possession by the Knicks. The Knicks carried over their successful game plan from game 1 with the Spurs guards, where they showed heavy gap coverage as well as stunts towards the ball when they were driving towards the rim. You're going to see Mitch Johnson here call for this twist play, which is a really popular play used in the NBA. It's pretty much just a screen going one way and then a second screen going the opposite way. Here you can see Steph Curry using it well. So when Stephon Castle comes down the court, he gets a screen from Vassell going this right side of the court, and then Victor Wembanyama is going to set this second screen going the other way. Stephon Castle comes off the screen, but you're going to see OG Anunoby stunt hard at the ball here. So Castle's forced to pick up the ball early here, and when he tries to get a good shot off, Mitchell Robinson's there to just completely block that shot away. They do it to Wemby here as well. You can see he has this clear isolation against Cat. Mikal Bridges is playing heavy gap on Keldon Johnson. Even Landry Shamet is coming over and helping and loading up on this drive here. And so when Wemby sees all these defenders, he just throws up a crazy pass and it's an easy turnover of Jalen Brunson to steal. So there's still some adjustments that the Spurs can make for game 3, but the way the Knicks are playing offensively and defensively, it's going to be very difficult. Now they're only 2 wins away from an NBA title.